We have the questions from Slido. I would like to show them on the screen as well. And before that, I counted, actually, this 1862 was not far away. It was only 57,000 days ago. So, but what I really enjoyed is in this video that you mentioned there are already 25 events happening. When is the next one coming up? So maybe we can start with this one.
I don't have exact date, but we have part of the team right here in the hall. They are planning, and this is a lively schedule. And we actually very public about announcing and promoting and creating events all the time. So I will need to check when exactly the next one. Maybe Martinas can contribute to this.
This summer.
This summer, they say.
Very good. So please remember Vilnius Connect. Now, let's turn to the questions from our audience. The procurement approach of Rail Baltic project main line is design and then build. This is known to lead to over-dimensioning and cost overruns. Why not use collaborative contracts? And maybe, Kaido, you could tell first why existing approach is used and how you mitigate the potential over-dimensioning and cost overruns.
Okay, why we are only designing? It was decided by the three governments 3 years ago that Rail is responsible for design and the implementing bodies are responsible for construction. That's why we are doing this design separately. But at the same time, of course, we are doing also design and build for the electrification and for the signaling and communication. And there is also the other approach for the designing. What we are doing to not overrun the cost. Of course, we like to make as efficient as possible railway, and we will design together with designers this so that hopefully there will be no cost overruns. We will prepare tender documents and bill of quantities together with designers for the implementing bodies, and I hope that the market will tell what is the right cost then.
I guess also part of this question is related to interoperability and making sure that there are design guidelines unified across the whole project, and if one team is in charge of the whole design, it should actually lead to not cost overrun rather than cost overrun for this almost 900 kilometers of railway track. Okay, now, the next one. What is your return of experience, or your experience probably, on first civil works design tender package? Do you know which tender is that? Is that the Riga station, or would be your...
I don't know, we have in Estonia one tender going on for the
Please use my...
yeah, we have in Estonia one tender going on for the first viaduct, but that's road administration who dealing with that. So I don't know.
Okay.
We just started
Maybe
design.
you can specify once again, and then we'll come back to this question later. Why all the advertising materials, like a film from Estonia, we see ICE trains from Siemens, is the choice of rolling stock already done? And how was about Vilnius Connect? Was there also Siemens trains there? Do you remember?
No, there was Lithuanian trains.
Yeah, these are our old trains, so yes, they are procured and no commercials attached.
So
maybe Anvar can. Anvar, are you here? Can you explain why there is Siemens trains?
No, but I think the answer about rolling stock is actually that it is not yet procured, and if you have any animation specialists and help us to improve, next time feel free to help us. But no advertising, no hidden advertising. Now, and the same with the rolling stock. Based on which parameters of the rolling stock will design of the track and depots take place? What are the main technical parameters, I think, from the whole project we are using and telling, but maybe you can remind our
We are designing, our part is the main line. We are not designing, or RB Rail is not designing depots. But of course, there is open questions that to do the proper design of the rolling stock depots, you preferably understand which trains you will maintain later. But up to now, of course, it's not clear yet. There is some proposals in the operational plan, what kind of rolling stock can be used in Rail Baltic. But of course, this is the government's decisions when they will buy and which trains they will buy then.
And how generally the trains will be operated. And perhaps about operation, let me remind you that we will have special session dedicated for operational plan and study findings that was done last year and early this year, so that there you will have the questions about trains, length, how often they will run, etc. Does the designers, during the design process phase, cooperate with builders? And I think it could actually go to both of you, how you envisage this cooperation.
I can tell that our designers and our task or technical specifications include this part, that of course, during the constructing procurement, our designers are ready to answer any questions what is related to the design. So they know that. Even in the first kick-off meeting when we this Tuesday, we asked them that they are clear about that, and they told yes, they know that they have to assist us and assist the implementing bodies who are doing the tenders during the tender time.
And I think maybe, Adamas, you could take as well, I think that you showed that the project like Vilnius Connector, Vilnius Central Station is actually much wider, not only designers and builders, but a lot of other stakeholders to be involved throughout the whole project.
Yes, indeed, it's quite a wide project, and I know that our project team already going through a dialogue with the architect community, with the business community, with developers of the city, with the urban specialists, and this dialogue will continue. And of course, naturally, because we are a railways organization, we will be talking to Rail Baltica about the connectivity, but also servicing our other needs like cargo throughput through the station and eliminating whatever is necessary to take out of this territory. So this is quite a wide range of topics, and we're very open in these discussions, and we invite all the stakeholders to participate and discuss what is the best approach. And we're still in the stage of discovering what is the best way to approach such a big initiative.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The next question, what will be the travel time between Tallinn and Vilnius? As I said, and this is probably a teasing question, please join us for the afternoon session on operational plan. What I can say, it will be less than 4 hours if 2 hours will be to Riga and 2 hours from Riga to Vilnius. So 4 hours plus minus from Tallinn to Vilnius. Now, the next one, how is the overall integration of the subsystems ensured? Electrification, signaling, etc. Guido, you started to explain. Maybe you can tell us when in the timeline these other design phases will come.
Yeah, we are not in good position here, of course, because the design of the communication and electrification will be much later than we are designing the civil part. But there is requirements in our designs that designers have to foresee the places for the catenary post, for the signal boxes, all equipment. So we are not designing them, but at least place for these facilities and this equipment they should foresee in the design. And later stage then the next designers then will take over our designs and will do then electrification design and signaling and communication. There is possibility that the electrification design may change a little bit also some places the layout of the turnouts or the sectioning. So we may do some redesigning later stage, but hopefully this part will be very short. But yes, we are fortunately designing on different timing these things.
Maybe you can just remind to our participants what are the basis for our design, what kind of guidelines and the basic materials we are using.
In technical specification, what we have asked our designers to do to replace every signaling and communication and electrification information from the existing designs to the new designs. I can tell that in Estonian design is quite detailed already, so everything what is in Estonian premium designs, they have to put also on our designs. The same in Latvia and the same in Lithuania. Of course, as we like to be the most higher technology than some designs are already old. Like in Latvian case, we have signals everywhere. So we are not planning to have signals, so it's not everything needed in our designs. But in the design guidelines, there is also some chapters about these things, so designers have to take account of all of these. And as there will be as less as possible equipment for signaling and electrification, then of course it's not so big problem.
So, but the starting point is also design guidelines for the joint, the whole line. Now, Adamas, are you ready to take this one, or Kaido, or maybe somebody else? How come Vilnius was not part of the Rail Baltica project at the initial stage? Do you know the history?
Very good question. I don't have an answer, but I only have an assumption that people were assuming that's so natural that Vilnius is part, so nobody actually thought about it.
And checked.
And checked, and here we go. But it's on the map, and we're very glad about it.
Yes. Kaido? No? Historically, I think that
there
are many other
I know
cities.
that, but in our mind and our heart, the Vilnius is always part of the Rail Baltic, so it's...
Good. That's the right answer. Thank you. In 2018, Baltic presented guidelines for design. What will prevail if contradictions will pop up with the local railway regulations? Will you change design guidelines? Have you seen contradictions maybe already?
No. The design guideline study looked all the local regulations. So there is... Except Lithuania, there is no other regulations available in Estonia and in Latvia. So our design guidelines are for the high speed, and of course all small parts what were already written in the local regulations we took over to the design guidelines. They are already included there. And of course, in each country, the designers have to not use only the design guidelines, but also the local standards. Like in each country, they have separate design guidelines for the viaducts, for the roads. We will not have common rules for the Rail Baltic viaducts because they must be according to the local regulations and laws. So today, there is no problem inside our design guidelines.
Okay.
And there is always possible to change something. We have special regulations how to do the derogations from the design guidelines if we see that there is no way that the designers can use properly design guidelines. We don't like to do the derogation, but still we know that there is cities we cannot go through the cities with 250 kilometers per hour, so we have to reduce the speed, and that's why we have these derogations possibility.
Yes, but at the same time, of course, it is nice to point out that we have design guidelines, but we have also local legislation that we need to follow. If that would be more harmonized, it would be easier for us, developers and contractors. If not, then we have to deal with the local matters as they are. Now, the next one. Do you plan to issue design and build tenders on turnkey basis? If yes, for which specific sections? Will there be any for the sections design and build? Or it will be only for the stations?
Probably for the stations. I don't know exactly, but in our case, no. We are still designing. Of course, as I told already, the electrification and signaling will be designed and built.
Yes. Okay.
As planned today.
And let's take a few more questions, and then we will break for the lunch. Now, what's the vision regarding the train traffic management, monitoring, control within the Rail Baltica line? Single, STC, I don't even know the term, or multiple? Can you explain the term and then to answer the question?
We have done operational plan. There is some ideas there, and today we are starting also the tender for the consultancy about CTC and signaling. So hopefully these tenders or this project will show us how to do that. But if we look at the operational plan, then there is every country probably must have one CTC center, because all kind of things what we will do in the country language, like if there is any accident, so we need to have the local safety and security people doing the investigations things, so we cannot do that centrally from one place in English. So that there must be sort of local CTC centers, and hopefully we will have one common for the whole operation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the next question I would like slightly to rephrase or to ask you, what is actually small and big stations in our project? And because the question is, are small stations included in the design scope of Rail Baltica project? What kind of stations are we talking about?
Yes and no. I can tell this, but that the Rail Baltica project is a global project. All international stations are in the scope of design, and they are designed by the local implementing bodies. What we are doing, because there is also in operational plan and in the plans of the governments also to have the local regional traffic. So as this is not the part of the design, then at least we are doing this design on the conceptual level, so that we will place these stations on the right places where they are planned. Otherwise, we cannot finalize our own design. So we will do some level design that showing how these platforms or stations or buildings, tracks will be on the environment, on the maps. And then, of course, the next step is then the governments have to decide who will then design them, because almost every place you have to do anyway detailed planning. It's according to every country's regulations. You can just not do that without this. And planning, then designing, and how they will finance, that's different case. We will do small part of that during our design.
So let's just stress it once again. We are in charge in overall Rail Baltica high-speed train project, but for the regional train, potentially to use the same truck, it will be up to the governments to decide how they will use, etc. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And then perhaps let's take then the last one for our Lithuanian colleague. What is more detailed timeline of Vilnius Connect project, different stages?
We're currently in the process of planning, and we have some key milestones that we want to hit. We don't have very detailed plan at the moment, but stage by stage, as was indicated in my presentation, we expect to go step by step. Very important milestone for us will be connecting with Rail Baltica, and currently we expect that this will be happening in year 2023. And then, depending on the market conditions, we will be expanding into this commercial side of the project. So the operational side, I believe, should be complete by 2023. However, we're still in the process of having detailed, precise plan.
Where one can follow your project? Is there a specific web page? Is it LG, or are these now particular persons to
Yes.
in charge?
Both on our Lithuanian Railways webpage, which is Litrail LT, we have a section dedicated to this initiative, but also we have a standalone webpage where we put all the materials related to this initiative. It is called Vilnius Connect. If you search, definitely you should find.
And thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause to our participants? Thank you.